you never exactly know when it's going to. But then it
I would say
does,
we're
and we're
live now.
here. We might be, in
Hey.
fact. Hey, Sebastian!
Darren.
Seb. Dude! It's so good to see you.
It is good
I
to see you again.
I don't think I've been this excited about a Pineapple firmware release since 1.0. I'm just going to say that. I've been really loving this version.
Yes, me too. I think we've addressed some of the issues people were having, and I think we've
You're
built
not
some
giving yourself
stability.
enough credit. It's more than just addressing issues. You went above and beyond with adding some awesome features that totally changed kind of some of the usability aspects of it. And I know I can't wait for my next kind of vacation adventure to happy places to gather lots of packets.
Yes.
Yes. So for everybody tuning in, thank you so much. We should probably point out, if you're watching this live on May 20th, you can find us over at irc.hackfi.org in #pineapple. You can leave us a question there. You can as well do so on the Google Plus event page where we have the Q&A open. So feel free to just go ahead and comment there. And otherwise, if you aren't already aware, this is all about the Wi-Fi Pineapple, the fun penetration testing wireless device. And I'm Darren Kitchen, rocking my Pineapple shirt, otherwise of Hack5, and we have with us, of course, Sebastian Kinna.
Yes, sadly not rocking a Pineapple shirt. It's a Stormtrooper instead.
Stormtrooping pineapples.
Yes, exactly. It'll do.
In fact, it's not even just firmware updates today, because we just made a major back-end change, which will kind of come into play in the future more later. Yes. But we've put some things in play that will allow for bigger growth and whatnot. And so you want to talk a little bit about the server migration that is currently underway.
Yeah. Yes. So it's pretty much done. We're live now on it, but we've switched our infrastructure from a simple one instance based system, so one dedicated host system that was supporting all of the firmware downloads, all of the infusions, the update checking, the IP checking, all of that kind of stuff. That was all done on one server. So now what we've done is we've actually got a load balance set up with a number of backend servers that launch when we need them and so on. So basically we're hoping that this will increase throughput to our users and that everyone has a bit of a more smoother experience browsing and using their Pineapples. I think that's pretty much what we're doing right now, yeah.
Yeah, in fact, throughput is one of the... Throughput's a foreshadowing. I see what you did there. Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Yeah, I know, but yes, absolutely. But I think it's just a good step in the future and in the right direction anyway. Yeah.
Can I just kind of kick us off and refresh this page?
Oh,
you dare me to? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Refresh.
Here, I'm gonna do it from a right click so you can kind of see. All right, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Oh, dude.
That's pretty good.
Seb, you've outdone yourself. What on earth made that happen?
Well, number one, your firmware version still says 1.4.0, but I guarantee you that is not possible. That load speed is not possible on 1.3.0. It is actually running 1.4.0.
Sure, I've got a beta build.
Running a beta build, exactly. But what we did is we completely canned UHTTPD, which was the web server we were using before. We've moved to Nginx, which most of you should know, and if you don't, look it up, because it's an incredibly fast, relatively lightweight web server. It's very high scalable, which you wouldn't expect to need for something like the Wi-Fi Pineapple, but because we have such limited resources, and UHTTP is written in a way that it's not meant to serve that many requests, and the web interface does have a lot of requests going at the same time to be live and to be able to be so, well, web interfacey, we switched to Nginx, and Nginx is incredibly fast compared. So I think we have a speed up of, what would you say, Darren? I would say it's at least 3 times the speed.
Yeah, it's at least 3 times the speed.
We've gone from a full load with infusions downloaded from over 10 seconds to around 3 or 4 seconds. So of a full interface load. or refresh. So that's pretty good, and it means that when clients are connected and clients are connecting your serving pages to them, it's also able to scale that much better and not lag your interface down like it used to.
Yeah, in fact, I know that it's so much faster because I was just recently doing some testing with one of these guys, and I had to boot it up and go back into the web interface, and I was like, ah! It's amazing how quickly you get accustomed to this. So, yeah, 140 for the win.
Yes,
we want to get into
absolutely.
some more of the features.
Yes, absolutely. So, so the one of the biggest features was this move to Nginx, so to you know, to speed this thing up. But it has another advantage actually, because before with UHTTPD you could set up SSL, but a lot of people have had issues with using the wrong SSL certs and the right formats and how to configure it so that it works for the interface even when port forwarding it or using reverse SSH to expose that port. But we've now moved to Nginx, which is as simple to configure SSL with as it is to do it on a normal install. So there's no difference between your production server that you might have Nginx running on and your Pineapple, in terms of setting SSL anyway. So that's something big, I think, because a lot of users have requested an easy way to do this. There is no easy way to do this from the interface. This is still something you have to install yourself and set up yourself. But if you're familiar with doing it, or if you just Google for it, it's a very simple thing. In the future, we're going to build functionality in to actually change Nginx properties and set up SSL and so on, and then do port form. That's future.
And I just recently found out that as SSL-wise, I had no idea about this, but turns out this little MIPS has got some crazy stuff under the hood. It does better SSL performance than a Raspberry Pi, so that's something.
It does. Well, building
sure.
SSL, yes, yeah,
it's good stuff.
Yeah. So what else do we have? I think one other big improvement that we've have is in regards to the way we do networking on the Pineapple. So we've changed some of the internal configurations and internal firewall and routing configurations of the Pineapple. So the default ones that are on there to allow for easier bridging of devices, and that leads into one of our future firmware or software updates that we're going to be bringing out, which is going to also have Ethernet client mode as opposed to the wired client mode that we have right now. Sorry, the wireless client mode that we have right now. Speaking of the wireless client mode, though, as some of you are aware, the Wi-Fi Pineapple Mark V does have a bit of an... Well, I think that so right now...
Mm-hmm. Right now, we're... and this only actually came to light when we started realizing, in fact, I couldn't even reproduce this here in the office because our internet connection over the Wi-Fi is just smashed. 2.4 gigahertz. The spectrum here is utterly devastated. But what we've realized is that during development, our number one focus, and this actually harkens back to the Mark IV era, our number one focus in adding additional hardware to the Pineapple was actually for stability, and that's kind of where we sit as far as like rolling out features and things of that nature. Is we're kind of err on the side of caution, and our biggest thing is just keep the thing up, right? And that was actually an issue with the Mark IV, was we had problems with, say, for instance, 3G modems dropping and other stuff like that. And then we learned some of the intricacies of the USB stack as it regards to the chipset that we're using from Atheros. And I'm not going to lie, it could be better. It's not the worst, but there are some caveats. And so the caveat there was that it works much better when you use a USB hub. And so that's actually one of the things that we've integrated into the Mark V that allows us to have additional things like the SD card reader, so expansion isn't something tying up your USB port, and an additional interface on the board, which again doesn't tie up your USB interface. But what we noticed is we actually have, with our implementation of the Realtek, we chose the Realtek 8187 because, in fact, it's this exact, this, you may be familiar with the Alpha AWS-036H. It's a very popular Wi-Fi hacking radio, and we chose this because it has a really great support for both monitor and injection, and that was kind of our focus there. And so when we were developing for the Mark V, initially our focus was on stability, and we were very happy when we saw, a week of uptime without any sort of hiccups. And so later on down the road, we actually realized, and unbeknownst to us upon release, that there's actually a physical throughput limitation of 11 megabits per second for the onboard Realtek. And so what that means is if you use WLAN 1, the Realtek chip, the second interface right here, this radio, as your client mode, it's actually going to be capped at 11 megabits per second, which for many circumstances should be fine. However, if you're handling a lot of clients, which I know I have, you may want additional throughput. Ethernet is a great way to go. You're not going to have any sort of limitations if you are, say, using a 3G modem or using an Android phone to tether to. But it is something to be aware of, and so to address that, Seb has made some changes to the firmware that allows us to use additional radios, and then I'll come back to that in a moment. But you want to talk about the additions to client mode now?
Yes, absolutely. So in that regard, because of this, we wanted to not have it limited to just using WLAN 1 as client mode, that we can give you any interface above WLAN 0. So we do reserve WLAN 0 for any type of internal features and launching the access point. So you cannot currently use that for client mode, but everything you plug into the Pineapple afterwards, such as the Atheros devices, the Realteks, the external ones, anything that we support, and Darren's releasing a list or has released a list already. So you'll be able to select those and do client mode from those, apply them in externally. And that was one of the things why we had to change some of the routing configurations that allow us to basically plug and play, insert network adapters, and start client mode from there right away.
Right, and when it comes to network adapters, we have been pretty thorough. I have some. Oh gosh, here I'm gonna do it, Seb. I'm gonna do it. They're gonna have to see. I'm sorry. Don't try to pretend like yours doesn't look like this either. But here's my Mark V with. I'm actually using a Port Pilot now because I'm doing a lot of analysis of power consumption. But I'm simply using an Atheros. This one is the AWUS 036 NHA. This has an Atheros chipset, the AR9271. We've had fantastic results with Atheros across the board. this is now fully supported, as well
Yes,
as
absolutely.
there's a TP-Link that's also really great, a WN722N. This is a fantastic USB radio. It does have more power consumption than the other Atheros. And then we also have the original Realtek, which is also supported. And we've tested, let's see, a raw link. We've tested, this is another generic Realtek. I've got another Realtek, another Realtek.
You're not making any
Realtek. And so what we end up with is actually we have now a table here, a list of supported radios, and this list will grow as we test new devices. And so I'm also doing power consumption stuff because that is one of the concerns is, as we want everything to be in one nice little pretty package, we additionally want to make sure that if we are plugging in something over USB that we're not, draining our battery too quickly or overloading what the Pineapple can actually produce. And that is actually to spec. It's the 500 milliamps. And I've been super happy with the Atheros-based Alpha because it's only using some 100 milliamp hours on average for RX and TX. So that's good stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
You want to take a look at it? I've got it. Yeah, I've got it right here. So I've actually got it plugged in, and if we go under Network here at the bottom, see we have a couple of additional tabs. I unplugged my Pineapple. Of course.
Okay. In that case, let me maybe show you what's
okay.
What's on. Right.
There might be too many cables on my desk, Seb.
Maybe.
I'm gonna wait for that to boot up.
Right. So just as Darren just mentioned, this is the interface, network interface. If we now go to client mode, you'll notice that we actually have another wireless interface here. You can choose between WLAN. Oh, you can't see that on the Hangout. I forgot. Right. So imagine that.
Oh, right, because of the drop down.
This is the Google Hangout plugin that doesn't allow you to see the drop down while it's being dropped down. But as you can see, I'm changing the values between WLAN 1 and WLAN 2. You can hit scan. It's going to scan for SSIDs around you, as it used to. Same with the WLAN 1 and 2. It's going to tell you if you're connected or not, depending on the interface you choose. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Under the hood, there's a lot more, but this is as simple as we could make it, or right now could make it anyway. And yeah, there you go. So this was one way to show, yeah, all of this. Right. Yeah. So this is what the client mode now looks like. The only addition was really the interface.
Well, you also changed under the hood from IW to IW list.
Right. Yes. So for anyone that cares, we're now using quality. We're using proper percentages and not out of 70, which I always found odd. But IW uses out of 100, so we switched to that. But in general, it was required because when certain interfaces, such as the Atheros chipset, for example, if that's already connected currently to a network, and you then want to scan IW list, the output of that program is just nothing. It's the device will be busy. But yeah, so
you may actually be able to see a little bit better over here on my screen, and I've got it up here. But from the client mode tab, you just have that drop down, and so depending on how many interfaces you plug in, you're going to see additional WLANs, and from
Absolutely.
here you can scan, and actually I can already see that mine, as I've configured previously, is connected to my network here at the office, and I've got an IP address, and that becomes, because I've connected in that way, if I go back over to network, that actually becomes my default gateway. So we can see here WLAN 2 is now my default gateway,
yes.
And all my packets are happy. You've also
Absolutely.
made some changes to access point as well, haven't you?
Yes, I have. So in the access point config, we now have, there's an access point config for those that didn't know. You're able to change your SSID, change your channel, set an encryption, set a password. So it seems really simple, but what it means that is you're able to change the channel fairly easily. And that's big because with client mode, you might connect to a channel, to an access point which might currently be on channel 11. When that happens, client mode will actually warn you and ask you to change your access point's channel if you do want to connect to there. You can connect just fine, but there is the issue of channel collision, and to avoid that, you're able to change your channel. You can also set an encrypted access point. I do this a lot for when I'm developing and I'm in public areas. And I'm working with Karma, but I don't want people to be Karma'd. I can put an encryption password on there, and hey, I see myself in a live stream. That's a very odd thing. Yeah, so you're able to set an encryption and set your SSID depending on what you want. What is important to note is that if you do set a password, oh yeah, do you want to quickly show that before?
That's how it is. So like, if I'm connected to RISA, I can actually see, hey, it's on channel 1, and here's the BSSID and all of that other stuff. And I do like the link quality and percentage; it's great. But I choose, for instance, myself as an example, and it's going to say warning, channel conflict. And the reason to mention that is because you're going to have two radios on the same spectrum, both fighting for usage of that spectrum, and so your throughput will be limited.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so really quickly before I forget, the biggest part about encryption.
Yes, I was about to mention that.
If you're running Karma and you've got encryption turned on, so we give you WPA and WPA2. We do not give you WEP because none of that.
That's kind of akin to us not supporting Internet Explorer.
Yes, absolutely. Use that. I'm not even gonna bother. But yes, so the reason why encryption is important to mention is because if you turn Karma on, then while the access points are visible to your clients around you that they're probing for, it does require a password to join, so they will not auto-join. However, if you do know the password of an access point around you that is encrypted, but you do want to use Karma and you do you know, you want to do more of an evil twin attack, this makes it really simple. You set the right encryption, you set the password, and your clients will come flowing in. So
right. And so this is kind of, we get this question a lot where people are like, well, can, you know, Karma attack, you know, WPA encrypted networks? And well, traditionally the answer is no. It's kind of a yes, but you just need the password. That said, if
absolutely.
you're using something like Bully or Reaver and you happen to obtain the password on your lawful penetration test, then you can then, like as Seb said, just pop this in the field and Bob's your uncle. So anybody probing for that network will get you saying a reply saying, hey, connect me this encrypted network that you're expecting to be, and then, you know, four-way handshake later, you've got a client.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's something we added to the access point. What else we've added actually is we've added an advanced tab.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm looking at it right here. It looks pretty good too.
You've got it right now.
Yeah.
Right, so we added a MAC changer and the ability to reset your wireless configuration, which is important if you're plugging in multiple wireless dongles externally, because otherwise you're going to start seeing conflicts and so on. So you might want to hit that if you switch your wireless.
What are you talking about, Seb? I wouldn't know anything about that. No, not at all.
Yes. But yeah, so basically we added the MAC changing feature. We built that in. It's been asked for such a long time, and we just never really got around to pushing it. And there was a great script actually out there, I think by JJD on the forums. And he released a script that could do this. We've basically done a very similar thing like the script does. We're changing the MAC address to a random MAC address or to a MAC address that you choose, and to any of the wireless interfaces.
Because I can actually see right here in my WLAN 2, it begins with 00C0CA. That's the OUI for alpha, as well as, say, for instance, WLAN 1, which starts with 001337. Of course, that being us, but boom, just generate a random MAC, and then I will have my own MAC address.
Yes, absolutely. So this takes a second because it has to set the MAC address, and the way it works is that we actually have to restart the wireless interface. So.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I just did that, and now I've got, you know, an OUI of 00238D. That's pretty cool. And so you're saying that if I do this, resetting the wireless network, I'm most likely going to lose any clients that I have connected to me.
Yeah. Well, so that's the thing. If you change your WLAN 0 MAC address, which is the one you'd be using, ideally you wouldn't change these settings after you've connected or have people connecting anyway. But in case you do, if you change the MAC address, your clients are most likely going to drop and rescan because the BSSID has changed. If you change the MAC address from any other interface, yes, it does drop WLAN 0 really for a split second, but that's required because you have to bring down the interfaces and bring them back up. Sadly, we have to bring them all down and bring them all back up. But it means basically, I mean, if I do it and I test while connected over a wireless network to it, routed through a router, so I don't actually see. Well, the drop happens, but it's a split second, so it shouldn't make a big difference.
Right.
Not
okay.
Out.
That's good stuff. And so that is MAC changing, and you just want to be aware to do that before you set up your Karma and everything else. But that's good stuff. I love that ability. In fact, I'm a huge fan of doing that at, say, for example, the San Francisco airport, which gives you free Wi-Fi for 45 minutes per unique IP, or I'm sorry, unique MAC address.
MAC address, yeah.
Yes, good stuff. Dude, you want to get into Karma? Because this is laying groundwork stuff.
So I've actually prepared this on the side. Let's
awesome.
Pull up the interface again. Right, so we all know.
Can you increase your font size in that?
I can do. Give me 1 second. Without it looking too ugly. Okay, I think that should be readable for everyone. So we have the Karma Intelligence Report, which just shows my phone currently connected to a fake SSID. Now, looking at the Karma log, the first thing you'll see, we now have Karma filters. And that is well, it's quite obvious what they're for, but let's just scroll down a little bit. The karma log is annoying to read, not really easy to parse through. You have to manually look for a MAC address or look for an SSID. So what we've added is abilities such as removing all duplicates. Let's just apply that filter, and there we go. All duplicates have been removed. So that's that. Now it's much easier to go over and see what you do. But say you only want to see associations, so you select the associations radio button, hit apply again, and we only see associations. If I get rid of that, you're actually going to see these because these are always the same. Say you want to only look for anything to do with AT&T Wi-Fi. Yes, and say maybe all, remove duplicates, and say apply. So because I said remove duplicates, we only have 2 entries here. If I remove that, though, you'll see there's plenty of probe requests and plenty of associations. But this is basically the gist. You're able to filter for whatever you want and quickly parse the information out that you need to see. I think
this is huge. I mean, because I've done a lot of gathering of statistics at different places where you end up with a karma log that is just massive. And normally what I do is a similar text processing with that log file back home with sed and awk and grep and unique and all of those other bash text processing tools. But having this here and having this dynamic, because it's all done in the browser with the JavaScript, is, Seb, you've outdone yourself. This is fantastic, and I think this is leading the way to some of the features that we're going to be seeing in the next release.
Yes, absolutely. Which I mean, this we can definitely talk about. One of the things is that you're able to take this parsed log and save that out to a file, or save this filtered log. Sorry, take this filtered log and pass it to a file and download it right away, or put it to the SD card. So you'll be able to do this thing. So basically, you'll be able to generate reports from the karma log. And that's a feature that's going to be coming very, very soon. The greatest thing about it is that this kind of stuff is relatively processor intensive, and the Pineapple, while it can handle it, it does take it a while to do. So we move all of that processing over to the client side and do it all JavaScript.
That's fantastic. I love this feature. This is probably my favorite for the release, just because I've had that monster karma log, and you're just like scroll.
And I think a lot of people have said this, and I mean it's something where you can say, well, okay, we'll just do a grep for the file. The file's in temp, just grep the file. But to be honest, we had to have something in the interface which allows you to see exactly what you want to see. That you can filter just by MAC address, that you can filter just by an SSID or C specific.
You say it's in temp, but it could be anywhere you want it to be.
It could be anywhere, absolutely.
Technically, I mean, down at in Karma log, in fact, or in, under advanced in Karma, you can actually change the folder for your log location. And I like, so /tmp, obviously temporary, it's ephemeral, it's not going to be there when you reboot, but changing that to your SD card makes that more permanent, which is great because then you can do fun reports and stuff with it later, and then we're going to make that easier.
Right. If you're going to be writing a very large file to there, though, so say you have a karma log and you never make a backup of it and you've been using it for months and it grows and grows and grows, make sure you've got a big enough SD card, and 2, try to get a class 10 because it's so much faster and otherwise really decrease the performance of your Pineapple while writing a lot to the SD card anyway.
Awesome. So you want to just finish us up with the last common updates that we've done?
Sure. And so there were some dependency issues in regards to the RTL SDR drivers that we introduced with the firmware. I think either before this or two firmwares ago we introduced the SDRs, the
Realtek, the RTL SDR source.
Yes.
Sweet.
No, sorry. We yes, we did, but the code name, we released the dinosaur, the SDR dinosaur. Anyway, sorry. Basically, there were some dependency issues there apparently, and we fixed those, got rid of them, and I think that covers that. And then we updated, as we always do, we updated all the system tiles. Any updates that were pushed into the Pineapple bar are now included in the firmware release, so they're right there for anyone to see.
Awesome.
And I think that pretty much covers the firmware upgrade. Yes.
Yes, very excited about what is this one called again? gonna have to look this up
Oh,
on
this
that. We
this
just released it. Oh yeah, here it is. It's here. I'm gonna have to pull this up. This is good stuff.
yes, it is.
Yes. So we're
Pinoraptor.
calling this one the Pinoraptor. Yeah, that's fun stuff. We've just been having too much fun with those. I am looking forward to, and should we tease some of this stuff? Should we talk about some of
Yeah,
the
go
upcoming?
ahead. Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
There's a couple of code names that I'm looking forward to. I'm definitely excited about Karmadactyl. I know that we'll
Mm,
most likely have that ready for DEF CON, as we have a lot of
yes.
projects in work, hardware, software, good stuff coming for DEF CON. So if you can make it out, otherwise we'll have it on the web and it'll be just epic. So I'm looking forward to our next generation stuff there, as
Speaking
well
about
as
DEF CON, we're going to be at the Wireless Village.
yes, we're going to
And
be giving an exclusive talk on the Wi-Fi Pineapple there. We're going to be debuting stuff at the Wireless Village, which is
yes.
really exciting. They get our love, they get the exclusives and all that. So I'm
Yeah.
so stoked to be there. Um, let's see. Oh, and then the next release. In fact, if I check our Trello, I see already what's in development. We've got some really cool stuff coming as far as notifications, as far as giving you a situational awareness
Hmm.
as to what's in your vicinity that allows you to be more adaptive, and then also the ability to do reports. So that's
Yes.
fun
I
stuff.
think I think the most exciting one will be the one with viewing your surroundings. I think there's some really fun stuff that you guys will like a lot. I think so. Yeah.
Yes, you can become a Wi-Fi chameleon, if you will. So well, I would say depending on who your boss is, the reports may also be really exciting, but it all depends.
Yes.
That's good
That's
stuff.
true. Right. So I think maybe we look at a few of the questions that we've gotten. The first one
Sure.
is to me, where do I come from? I'm from Germany. Um, who doesn't know that? Yeah,
But you're not like a regular German though, because you've been globetrotting like all your life.
I
So
have indeed. So
yeah,
that's why I have this really messed up accent of what is it? English, German, American, I
I
guess.
don't
Yeah.
have no idea. Y'all got that Wi-Fi's over there, don't you?
Yes. Hella.
Um, hella, right? So,
Yes.
Milan asks, is the update possible direct from the UI? He says he just checked and only sees 1.3 available.
Yes, it will be. As we said, we're doing the server migration right now, and apparently the server for some reason didn't take over one. Only one thing that didn't get moved over is the fact that 1.4.0 has not been marked as the only stable version. So there's currently two stable versions, and that's why you don't see it right now, but right after we finish this live stream, you'll be able to see it, and it'll be available from your Pineapple like it always has been.
Good stuff. We have one other regarding, let's see, memory issues. Have we changed anything with memory management? I've had some issues with spontaneous reboots when there are many clients. Uh, I would say check top, check to see what your utilization is, and mostly check your swap, right? So if your swap is on your SD card and you're only using, say, a class 2 like which we ship with it, which is just for firmware loading, and you can use it for like infusions and stuff, but it doesn't make a great swap disk. I really recommend everybody to upgrade to a class 10. That could make a huge performance difference. Is there anything else regarding that you can think of, Seb?
Well, yes. So serving pages, for example. So if you run things like DNS spoof or yeah, well, DNS spoof is a good example for this actually. Or if you're currently on the user interface and you're processing a lot of things, before UHTTP did take a lot of processing power and it did impact the Pineapple. So that's improved now. There's a few other bits and bobs that we improved. Specific to memory management, no, but definitely in terms of squashing, for example, one bug to do with the hot plug scripts that were taking a bit too much processing power. So I suppose yes, but not in the way you're thinking. But do check what processors are running and let us know on the forums. Maybe let us know there, and we can find out and try to debug this.
Yep. Other good stuff is that I should probably point out as we wrap this up that that issue that we talked about at the top about high throughput client mode that again only affects anything over 11 megabits per second using the integrated, which I guess right now we can recommend, but as soon as we start seeing some of the more Karmadactyl features coming out, you're really going to want to reserve that WLAN 1 for some of the monitor and injection stuff. It's still totally usable. However, if you are interested, if you do absolutely need a higher throughput because you're doing dozens of clients, and good on you, you can go ahead and find over at the Hack Shop. In fact, on the forums where we've pinned the supported high throughput client mode radios list, which we will continue to document these as I have tested numerous radios here. We, first of all, will have I guess we're going to anoint the Alpha AWUS036NHA as our choice one, just because it has superior range and power consumption, which I'm a huge fan of. And so, as a high throughput client mode, sooner than later, that's a great chip to get, and we're going to have that in the Hack Shop at cost, essentially. So look forward to very cheap Wi-Fi hardware coming to the Hack Shop soon for Mark V owners. That's going to be good stuff. As well absolutely. As in the future, I can't stress this enough, how much I appreciate everybody that brings to light, bug fixes, feature suggestions, all of those things, because, I mean, if you look at the progression of the project, if you look at where we were with the Mark III, the Mark IV, and now, we've just taken
we've come a long way.
Yeah, we've taken all of this feedback and we've kind of integrated it into this project, and so I hope that even as we continue to enhance the Wi-Fi Pineapple ecosystem, you will just continue to voice your concerns and your thoughts and your wishes, so that hopefully we can kind of grow this with you. And just thank you so much for being part of this community and allowing us to do this, because it is an absolute delight, and I'm very excited for some of the stuff coming in the future. As we just continue to, develop this out, and I'm just imagining a crazy pineapple transformer, coming up soon or something,
Yeah. No, we've got some nice things on the horizon, and I think it's going to be a couple of exciting months coming up. Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff. All right, and just real quick, anything else in the Q&A? Hangouts during Hack 5 filming. We've been filming a lot outside, which makes it very difficult to do. But there has been some great stuff on Hack 5 recently. So, in fact, we just next week, or I guess not this week. Tune in tomorrow. We're gonna have a fantastic episode regarding a pineapple in a Pelican case with a solar array and some software-defined radio and some high-gain antennas for point-to-point mesh stuff. It gets crazy. We're airplane tracking solar-powered briefcases. Fun. All right. Well, with that, thank you so much, Sab, for your tireless work. Where can everybody find you going forward?
You can find me on the forums. You can find me on Twitter. It's @SebKinna, and IRC.
Yeah, we will be there. I'll be there for the rest of the day. irc.hack5.org in #pineapple.
Yes, so if you have any further questions.
This was an awesome one. I'm very excited about the Pineraptor. And I'm looking forward to 1.5 because we're already in dev. But Thanks so much for joining us, guys. We will see you on the interwebs. Cheers.
Bye.